A small piece of metal, weighing just 5 grams, could be worth a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. The 1964 Jefferson nickel, a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about, holds secrets that could transform ordinary pocket change into a life-changing windfall. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary world of one of America's most valuable coins, where a single error could mean the difference between 5 cents and $50,000. In 1964, the United States Mint was working overtime. The economy was booming, and the demand for coins was at an all-time high. Over 2 billion nickels were struck that year, but here's where it gets interesting. Among those billions of coins, a handful of spectacular errors occurred. Errors that would make these seemingly ordinary nickels worth astronomical sums today. Take the famous 1964 double die obverse nickel. When this error occurred, the die struck the coin twice at slightly different angles, creating a ghostly double image of Jefferson's profile. If you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, you're looking at a value that could exceed $100,000. But here's the catch: these errors are incredibly rare, and you need to know exactly what to look for. Let's break down the anatomy of these valuable errors, because this is where you could strike gold, or in this case, nickel. First, examine Jefferson's profile under strong lighting. Do you see any doubling in the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust? If you do, your heart should start racing. This doubling isn't just a slight overlap, it's a clear, distinct separation that looks like a shadow of the original text, but that's just the beginning. Some 1964 nickels have what we call off-center strikes. Imagine the coin blank slightly misaligned when it was struck. These errors can range from minor to dramatic, and here's the incredible part: a severely off-center 1964 nickel, showing only 50% of the design, could fetch upwards of $25,000 at auction. The more dramatic the error, the higher the potential value. Now, let me share something that most collectors don't even know about. There's an ultra-rare variety of the 1964 nickel called the SMS Special Strike. These were specially produced with highly polished dies, creating a mirror-like surface that's absolutely breathtaking. Only a handful are known to exist, and if you find one, you're looking at a potential value of over $500,000. Yes, you heard that right, $500,000 for a single nickel. But before you rush to check your coin jar, you need to understand how to properly grade your finds. The difference between a moderately preserved coin and one in mint condition can be tens of thousands of dollars. Look at the high points of Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps on the reverse. Are they sharp and well-defined, or worn smooth? A coin graded MS 67, mint state 67, could be worth 100 times more than the same coin in MS 63 condition. Let's talk about another error that could make you rich: die cracks. As the dies used to strike coins wore down, they sometimes developed tiny cracks. These cracks created raised lines on the coins, known as die breaks. A 1964 nickel with a significant die break, especially one that creates what collectors call a cud, a raised, blank area at the rim, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Here's where it gets even more exciting. Some 1964 nickels have what we call repunched mint marks. The mint mark, the tiny letter showing where the coin was made, was sometimes stamped multiple times, slightly offset from each other. A dramatic repunch could mean a value of $5,000 or more, even in circulated condition, but perhaps the most valuable of all are the transitional error nickels. In late 1964, the mint was preparing for changes in coin production. Some 1964 nickels were accidentally struck on planchets intended for other denominations. If you find a 1964 nickel struck on a cent planchet, you're looking at a six-figure coin. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after by serious collectors. Now, you might be wondering, how do I find these valuable coins? The truth is, they're still out there. Every week, collectors discover valuable 1964 nickels in bank rolls, estate sales, and even pocket change. Just last year, a construction worker in Ohio found a 1964 double die nickel in his change jar. That coin sold at auction $4.85000. Here's what you need to start your hunt. First, get a good magnifying glass, at least 10x magnification. You'll also want a strong light source and a basic guide to coin grading. Start by examining the date and mint mark area carefully. Look for any signs of doubling, particularly in the numbers and letters. Check the rim for any unusual marks or raised areas that might indicate die breaks. Remember, condition is crucial. Even a severely damaged error coin can still be valuable, but the best prices go to those in pristine condition. Store your finds carefully, never clean them, as this can dramatically reduce their value. Use soft, non-PVC holders to protect them from damage, but here's something crucial that most people overlook: authentication. If you think you found a valuable error, don't get too excited until you have it professionally verified. The market is unfortunately full of altered coins trying to mimic genuine errors. A certification from a respected grading service like PCGS or NGC can mean the difference between a $50,000 sale and a worthless counterfeit. Let me share a secret that professional dealers use to authenticate these coins. Under microscopic examination, genuine mint errors show specific characteristics that can't be faked. Die cracks will have smooth, rounded edges. Double dies show consistent doubling patterns that follow the way the minting process works. Learning these subtle differences could save you from making a costly mistake. As we wrap up this exploration of the 1964 nickel, remember this: these valuable coins are still in circulation. Every day, priceless errors pass through countless hands, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. That someone could be you. Before you go, here's one final piece of advice that could make all the difference: don't just look for the obvious errors. Some of the most valuable 1964 nickels have combinations of minor errors that, together, create something extraordinary. A slight off-center strike combined with a die crack could be worth more than either error alone. The hunt for valuable 1964 nickels isn't just about making money, it's about being part of numismatic history. Every discovery adds to our understanding of these fascinating coins. Who knows? Your find could be the next record breaker that makes headlines in the coin collecting world. A small piece of metal that could change your life forever sits in plain sight. The 1994 Jefferson nickel. To most, it's just 5 cents. But to those who know its secrets, it's a hidden treasure that could be worth thousands. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1994 nickel, revealing the exact errors that make certain versions worth a fortune, and teaching you how to spot these valuable variations in your own collection. In 1994, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels across 3 facilities. While most are worth their face value, some rare specimens have sold for jaw-dropping amounts at auction. One particular error coin recently changed hands for over $50,000, from a coin that was originally worth just 5 cents. The story of the 1994 nickel begins with its creator, Felix Schlag, who designed this iconic piece back in 1938. The obverse features Thomas Jefferson's profile, while the reverse showcases his beloved home, Monticello. But it's not the design that makes certain 1994 nickels so valuable, it's the mistakes that happened during production. Every 1994 nickel was meant to be identical, weighing exactly 5 grams and composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. They were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, which produced coins with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S, for special proof editions. But during this massive production process, fascinating errors occurred that would later make certain coins extremely valuable to collectors. Let's dive into these errors, starting with the most sought after: the double die error. Imagine looking at Jefferson's eye under magnification and seeing it struck twice, slightly offset from each other. This isn't just a minor imperfection, it's a prestigious error that can turn a 5-cent coin into a $500 treasure. The doubling occurs during the die-making process, where the hub impresses the design onto a die multiple times. If there's even slight movement between impressions, you get a double die error, but that's just the beginning. Some 1994 nickels were struck off-center, creating a fascinating appearance where part of the design is missing, and a blank crescent of metal remains. The value of these errors directly correlates with how dramatic the off-center strike is. A nickel that's 5 to 10% off-center might bring $30, but find one that's 50% off-center and you're looking at hundreds of dollars. One of the most spectacular errors found on 1994 nickels is the clipped planchet error. Picture a coin where it looks like someone took a bite out of it, except this happened during the minting process when the blank planchet was improperly cut. These coins can command anywhere from $30 to several $100s, depending on the size and location of the clip. Then there's the broad strike error, a coin struck without the collar die that normally gives it its perfect round shape. These coins appear wider and flatter than normal, with no defined rim. A well-preserved broad strike 1994 nickel can easily fetch $100 or more from serious collectors. Die cracks and cuts represent another valuable category of errors. As the dies used to strike coins wore down, they sometimes developed cracks. These cracks appear as raised lines on the finished coins. Even more valuable are cuds, large raised areas of metal along the rim where a piece of the die actually broke away. Large cuds on 1994 nickels have sold for hundreds of dollars, but perhaps the most sought-after variety of 1994 nickel isn't an error at all, it's the full steps designation. On the reverse of the coin, Monticello's steps should show complete horizontal lines. Most nickels show worn or poorly struck steps, but find one with fully defined steps and you've got a coin worth serious money. The highest graded 1994 full steps nickels have sold for over $1,000. Now, let's talk about how you can identify these valuable variations. You'll need 3 essential tools: a good magnifying glass, proper lighting, and patience. Start by checking the mint mark. It's located on the obverse, right behind Jefferson's head. No mint mark means it's from Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. Under magnification, look carefully at all lettering and design elements for signs of doubling. Pay special attention to the word Liberty and Jefferson's features. Check the rim for any signs of clips or cuts. Examine the steps of Monticello. Can you see distinct horizontal lines? Each of these characteristics could significantly impact your coin's value. Understanding coin grading is crucial. The scale runs from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS 70. Most circulated 1994 nickels grade between good, G4, and very fine, VF 20. But the real money is in uncirculated coins grading MS 65 or higher. A regular 1994 nickel in circulated condition is worth 5 to 10 cents. In uncirculated MS 65, it might bring $5 to $10. But add an error or full steps designation, and the value skyrockets. Let's look at some real auction results. A 1994 double die nickel in MS 66 sold for $3,800. An off-center strike showing 40% blank planchet brought $1,200. A dramatic clipped planchet error realized $750. But the crown jewel was a perfect MS 70 full step specimen that sold for an astonishing $52,800. If you think you found a valuable 1994 nickel, you have several options for selling. Local coin shops offer immediate payment but typically pay wholesale prices. Online marketplaces like eBay reach more collectors but require careful shipping and handling. Heritage auctions and Stax Bowers specialize in rare coins and can help you reach serious collectors. Before selling any potentially valuable coin, consider having it certified by PCGS or NGC, the 2 most respected grading services. While certification costs money, it can significantly increase your coin's value and marketability. A certified coin gives buyers confidence in their purchase and often commands higher prices. To maximize your sale price, timing is crucial. The market for error coins tends to be strongest during major coin shows and auctions. Professional photographs highlighting the error features can help attract serious buyers. And always research recent sales of similar coins to price your piece appropriately. Remember, the key to finding valuable 1994 nickels is volume and patience. You might need to examine hundreds or even thousands of coins to find one special example. But that's what makes the hunt so exciting. You never know when you'll make that life-changing discovery. The 1994 nickel represents everything fascinating about numismatics, history, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. Every time you receive change, you could be holding a coin worth thousands. So check your pockets, piggy banks, and coin jars. That unassuming 1994 nickel might just be your ticket to a numismatic jackpot. A 1972 nickel, just 5 cents, right? Wrong. What I'm about to share will make you look at every nickel in your pocket differently. Some of these coins are selling for staggering amounts. We're talking thousands of dollars for a single nickel. And the best part? These valuable coins are still in circulation today. Now, I'm going to reveal how a seemingly worthless 1972 nickel could be your ticket to a major payday. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes certain 1972 nickels worth a fortune, and how to spot these rare treasures. But here's the kicker, I'm saving the most valuable error variant for last, one that recently sold for an amount that'll blow your mind. Let's dive into what makes the 1972 nickel so special. Back in 1972, the U.S. Mint was undergoing significant changes in their production processes. The Jefferson nickel design, introduced in 1938, was being struck at unprecedented volumes to meet the growing demand for circulation coins. But here's where it gets interesting, these rapid production changes led to some fascinating errors that collectors now chase with fierce dedication. The 1972 nickel features Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag, and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse. 3 mints produced these coins, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver marked with a D, and San Francisco producing proof coins marked with an S. But what really set some of these coins apart are the mistakes that happened during minting. Now, let's talk about these incredibly valuable errors. When coins are minted, various things can go wrong, and in the fascinating world of numismatics, these mistakes often translate into serious money. There are 3 main categories of mint errors that can turn your ordinary nickel into a prized possession. First, we have planchet errors. These occur before the coin is even struck. Think of a planchet as the blank metal disc that becomes your coin. Sometimes these blanks are cut incorrectly, leading to what we call clipped planchets. A significant clip can turn your 5-cent piece into a several $100 find. Then there's die errors, and this is where things get really exciting. The most famous of these is the double die obverse, or DDO. Imagine looking at Jefferson's face and seeing certain features doubled, like seeing double after a long night, except this double vision could make you very, very rich. The 1972 DDO nickel is particularly sought after, with clear doubling visible in the word liberty and the phrase "In God we trust." Even in moderate condition, these can sell for hundreds of dollars. In mint state, we're talking thousands, but wait until you hear about strike errors. These happen during the actual striking of the coin, and they're some of the most visually dramatic, and valuable, errors out there. Off-center strikes occur when the planchet isn't properly aligned during striking. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1972 nickel struck 50% off-center can easily command $150 or more. Here's something that'll make you examine your nickels more closely: broad strike errors. These happen when the collar die fails to properly contain the metal during striking. The result? A coin that's slightly larger than normal with a thin, flat rim. These distinctive errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on condition and how dramatic the error is. But let's talk about the real moneymaker, the full steps variety. On the reverse of your nickel, you'll see Monticello with its iconic steps. Most nickels show worn or poorly struck steps, but some 1972 nickels have perfectly defined steps. We're talking about 6 complete, distinct steps with sharp definition. These are incredibly rare, and in high grades, they're worth serious money. A full steps 1972 nickel in MS 66 plus condition. That's a 4-figure coin right there. Now, I know what you're thinking, how do I check my own nickels? You'll need a few basic tools: a good magnifying glass, at least 10x magnification, proper lighting, and patience. When examining your coins, look for any obvious abnormalities first. Is the coin perfectly round? Are all the design elements where they should be? Is there any obvious doubling in the lettering? Pay special attention to the date and liberty. These areas often show the most prominent doubling in DDO errors. For full steps examples, turn the coin over and look at Monticello's steps under strong light. You should be able to see distinct horizontal lines forming the steps. If they're complete and sharp, you might have something special. The condition of your coin matters enormously. In the collecting world, we use a grading scale from poor 1 to mint state 70. A 1972 nickel with error features in circulated condition might be worth hundreds, but the same coin in mint state could be worth thousands. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade your coins, adding significant value and credibility to your find. Here's something crucial: storage and handling. If you find what you believe to be a valuable 1972 nickel, handle it only by the edges, never clean it, and store it in a proper holder. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value faster than you can say mint state. The market for these coins is hot right now, with serious collectors willing to pay premium prices for the right examples. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember that special error I mentioned at the beginning? Well, it's time to reveal it. Recently, a 1972 nickel with multiple errors, a double die obverse combined with full steps in MS-67 condition, sold for an astounding amount that left the numismatic community in shock. This coin, which started its life as a humble 5-cent piece, sold for over $5,000 at auction. But here's the thing: there could be more out there. These coins are still in circulation. Every time you receive change, there's a chance you're getting handed a small fortune. The key is knowing what to look for, and now you do. Before we wrap up, let me give you one final piece of advice: start checking those coin jars and piggy banks today. Don't wait. As more collectors become aware of these valuable variations, the prices only tend to go up. And remember, even if you don't find that $1 million coin, the hunt itself is part of what makes coin collecting such an exciting hobby.